How you guys doing? It's Webby, and today we're gonna be doing a video on why do you feel behind? Why do you feel behind even though you are doing everything that you should be doing, everything that a majority of people in your age group might not be doing, yet you still feel behind? So I'm gonna give you the reason why that you feel behind and what to prevent, you from thinking that way and having that mindset. So first things first, you feel the way you feel because you feel behind because you're comparing yourself, right? So you're probably, let's say you're like 18, 19, 17, even 17, 18, 19. And I feel like around the age you start getting those feelings around like when you hit your 20s, or I think it's like when you're like 20, 21, then you really start like having this like cognitive shift in your thinking. And I believe that around that time you start feeling behind. And for the ones who are doing what they're supposed to be doing yet they still feel that way, I generally believe comparison is what does that to people, right? So you start seeing others are maybe around your age group, or you just start scrolling through social media and you start comparing yourself like, wow, this guy's driving a new car, or this guy has, I don't know, stack of thousands in his hand. Yet you really don't know the real story behind what you're looking at, but you're just comparing to yourself. Then you mentally feel sad now. You mentally feel down, and you're like, okay, I'm not doing what I should be doing, or I'm not doing as good as I should. But like, you're not even looking at where or how far you really came, right? So many people are so, you know, caught up in everybody else's life that they're not even realizing their own progress. Everybody's caught up in everybody else's progress, but they're not even looking at how far they came. Like me, for example, I used to be the same way. I used to when I used to be on social media, just doom scrolling when I was younger. I would just sit there and be like, oh my God, I could be doing way much better. Yet I wouldn't look a year ago. I'm two times ahead or three times ahead where I was a year ago. So the thing is, the main big one, it's your mindset, and comparison is the thief of joy. That's a big one. You guys probably heard that one. It might sound cliche to you guys, but it's true. It's very indeed true. Comparison is the thief of joy. You not need to learn about, it's not just it's you versus someone else. The competition is about you and yesterday you. That's something that I personally say, it's about you versus you. It's about you versus you. Like, it's not about you versus Tim, you versus Jim. It's not. No, you have to just focus completely on you. Are you a different person today than you were a year ago? Have you progressed today compared to last week? Have you made any progress on things that you want to work on? Have you worked more towards your goals for the year? Those goals that you set in the beginning of the year, have you really worked towards them? Anyways, that's the main chunk of what's causing you to have that mindset of I feel behind, or that constant like depressed feeling down feeling, and then you're looking for things to cope. It's not that you're really behind, and there are people that are out there that are truly are behind. Don't get me wrong. Don't think like just when you're actually generally not doing anything, or you're not putting yourself ahead in any way by investing or by saving or by educating yourself or by learning new skills, or just hustling your way as you should while you're young, since you have the time to do it. If you're generally not doing that, then okay, maybe you are truly behind. But for the people, this is more for the people who are actually generally going out and giving it 100% and giving their all, and giving 200%, matter of fact, and just going hard at it every single day of the week, regardless what time of the day, and you still yet have the deep down feeling like you're behind. So this is what the video is for. And for the people who don't feel that way, kudos to you for having everything in check, and knowing that it's not about what this person got going on, and it's about what you got going on. But anyways, Number one. Number one is, do not compare yourself to anyone else. Only compare yourself to either last year you, or how you were doing in the beginning of the year to now. Have you made any progress? Focus on your own progress. Don't worry about if this person, is 19 and you're 24, and this person has X amount and you have, I don't know, X amount, and he just has more money than you. What you don't know is, yes, on social media, let's say you see that on social media, do you actually know? Don't forget, social media is all about imaging. Don't ever forget that. I feel like social media is what really tends to bring people down a lot, and people like to compare themselves. You have to remember that social media is nothing but a platform from imaging. A lot of these social media influencers, it makes them seem like they already made it, which is what they need to do to sell whatever it is they need to sell. So If that's what they got to do, then that's what they got to do. And reality is they're probably in a less better situation than you are. So, but you don't know that because in your head you're thinking like, oh my God, this guy has thousands, he has millions, because that's what he's portraying himself as or her, and that's not even actually the case. They're doing way far worse than you. But sometimes they are doing way better than you, you know? And yeah, so don't compare yourself to anyone else because you'll always end up feeling like shit. There you go. I don't give it to you straight up. I don't like to sugarcoat things. I'm just let you know from straight up, that's just how I am. I don't like to sugarcoat things. You will feel like shit if you keep on comparing yourself to anyone else for the rest of your life. It's always about you versus yesterday. You always remember that. You versus yesterday. You versus the past. You. Have you made progress in have you made progress in bettering yourself? That's all that matters. And if you're not, then that's where the problem lies. Number 2, your mindset. You got to change your mindset. You know what I'm saying? You always think you're behind because your mindset. You always don't look at the good stuff. You're not applauding yourself. Nobody's gonna applaud for you. But if you've made progress and you're actually making changes to your life, nobody's gonna sit there and applaud for you. You might if you have really good people and people are seeing your progress. But if it's progress that only that you're working on, then only you will truly know. So sit there and actually that's crazy. To some this might sound crazy, but sit there and celebrate yourself. Be proud for yourself. Literally be proud for yourself. That business that you always wanted to started, you finally made your first sale. Why the fuck are you not, you know what I'm saying? Why aren't you celebrating yourself? Why are you sitting there beating yourself about it? You went from having nothing going on to making something. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to learn this skill and now you're so proficient in this skill that you're actually able to make it, make money off of it or sit there and, build something out of it, you should be congratulating yourself. Learn to pat yourself on the back. Remember when your teachers used to sit there and say, pat yourself on the back when you got a question right? And it sounded like the corniest thing on earth. I know it sounded corny to me. Sit there and actually pat yourself on the back, because in this life, as you get older, you realize you're not gonna get a lot of round of applauses, and sometimes you just have to clap for yourself because you don't know how far you came because you underestimate it. You sit there and think you growing through it because you're living day by day and you're just trying to progress through this thing, and yet when you finally reach it, you just shrug it off like it was nothing. But yet you wanted this thing so bad, so why are you shrugging it off as it was nothing? No, you accomplished something so good and you fought so hard to get it that you generally should applaud for yourself. So pat yourself on the back. So shift your mindset and actually be proud of yourself. Be proud of who you are. Number 3, what is it exactly that makes you think that you're behind everybody else? What is it that's keeping you up at night that makes you think that you're behind? That's what number 3 is. Sit there and actually think. You're just sitting there saying, I feel like, oh no, you're not saying. It's usually you're not saying, you're feeling. That's what it is. It's usually in your head, a lot of thoughts, coming up in your head, like you're behind. I feel like I'm behind. And it's usually just that weird feeling let's say you're in the middle of playing a game and then it just kills your mood and you just stop playing the game. I know a lot of you guys who game or grew up gaming get that a lot, where you're in the middle of the game. Even I do sometimes. I'm not gonna lie about it. You're in the middle of the game and you don't want to enjoy the game no more because you're sitting there like, damn, I really should be doing something else right now. But you gotta sit there and enjoy yourself sometimes. But back to the topic at hand. What is it? Sit there and analyze. What is it that you feel like you're behind on? I want you to go on a checklist. Are you behind in, savings? Are you behind in making investments? Are you behind in making, doing something and making something out of your life? Whether that's starting a business, I don't know, whether that's going to college, and whether that's learning a skill or whether that's learning a trade. What is it that you're behind in? And if you can't answer that question, then so how are you behind? If you can't answer a question, then how can you even, sit there and say something? You can't that's like making a false statement in a way, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, if you can't answer that question, now you have a list. Write those things down and start working on them shits. Write them down and start working on it. Ask yourself, what am I behind in? I feel like I'm behind, but what is it? Write them down. Work on them day by day. If it's a very long list, choose 3 things. Choose 3 things that will exponentially change your life around, and work on those 3 things for a good year. And eventually, pour some more into the other ones little by little, but start with 3 things, because if you have so many things going on at once, you will most likely end up not being able to do all, and you will stop doing all of them at once. So start with maybe 1 to 3 things. Usually one is better. Start with one, and later on work on two, then working on three, and then eventually, you will branch out. So like I said, if you're saying that you're behind, ask yourself, what am I behind on? What is it that I'm behind on, since you feel that way? The fourth thing, here's the fourth thing. If you generally don't know where to go in life and you're confused, like what is the next move, I generally don't know, and that's why you feel like you're behind, you're not behind, and you're not the only one. Don't think you're the only human being out of the 8 billion and growing beings, that you're the only one behind, because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing in this life, and you don't know what your purpose is, you don't know what's the next move, you don't know what you want to do in 10 years, and you don't know what you even want to do tomorrow. Don't feel like you're the only one. There's not, like, yes, you might have that one friend that knows what the fuck he wants to do. And yes, you might have that one cousin, uncle, brother, I don't know, that knows what they want to do. And yes, everybody's mind is wired differently. That's one thing I had to learn. And like, everybody's mind is not wired the way I think. Like, I might think a certain way, and then sometimes I would wonder, like, wait, why doesn't he think like this? Or why doesn't, this person think about X before they do Y? Not everybody's brain is wired that way. And so if your brain isn't wired that way, don't beat yourself over. Like, yes, okay, some people that you be around might have their life figured out and how they want to go about life, and they have a whole roadmap, and you might not. If you don't know what step one is, that's fine. But what's not fine is sitting there and not figuring out what step one should be. Figure out what you want to do. If that's why you feel behind, because you don't know what to do next, what your next move is, figure out what the next move is. Start with what your goals in life really is. Everybody has some type of thing they want to do in this life, that we get one of these. We get only one life. Out of the many things money can buy, it can't buy you another life. It can't get you another life. So you have to live your best life possible. So what is it that you want out of this life? Ask yourself that. Once you write it down, once you figure out what it is you want out of this life, now you got to write, how can I get there? What is it that I got to do to get there? And after you figure out what it is you got to do to get there, that's where you have to slowly think, okay, make baby steps and figure out, how can I get there to live this life that I want to live and be proud of when I'm like 60, 65. That's all it takes. You don't have to do traditional methods. You don't have to, because a lot of people, I feel like, when they don't know what they want to do, to fulfill that, unknown certainty of their life, just living on autopilot and just letting their life go by, they do the things that they are told to do, and they absolutely hate them. And don't get me wrong, some people will do something that they're told to do and then love them. I'm not saying that, like, for example, some people school isn't for them, they end up going to school. Maybe they love school. But I met a lot of people where it's a complete opposite, because their parents told them they had to go to school, so they just did it and did not enjoy it. But it's because they didn't really want to do it, and they didn't think, what is it that I wanted to do, and what is it I wanted out of this life, So like I said again, if you feel behind because you don't know what the next move is in your chapter in life, sit there, think for a minute, ask yourself what you want out of this one life that you get. Write steps on how you're going to get there, and from there, work on those steps every day to get there. And then boom. Last one. If you think that you are behind because you're not where you are, where you're supposed to be, and you're not, let's say, your goal, right? You haven't reached your ultimate goal yet. That's why you feel behind. This is the very last one I want to give to you. You feel behind because you're not where you thought you would be. That's what I'm ultimately trying to say. You feel because you're behind because you're not ultimately where you want to be. Well, let's talk about it, right? For me, there's days where I sit there. I'm going to use me as an example, I'm going to use me as the punching dummy for the day. For me, let's say my goal, one of my goals, I'll tell you one of my goals. One of my goals was always to be able to retire early, because I really don't want to see myself being like 60 years old and working. That's just not me. I've always said I want to retire at latest 50. I'm fine with that. That never bothered me. 50. If I can make it by 45, that'll also be cool. But currently I'm 24, which is 21 years from now, which I think is a good amount of time if I plan right, but it could easily go by. I'm 23 actually, but I'm about to be 24 soon. I don't know why I'd be saying that. But anyways, right? 23, about to be 24, and biggest goal is to be able to retire early. That's one. This might sound simple, but in reality, with how things are going, retiring is like getting pushed back in how long we're living. So you got to really plan financially. So if I were to sit there and make these goals in the beginning of the year, and I'm realizing, okay, I'm not hitting that, but was I really working on it efficiently enough? Was I really day to day working on those goals? Let's say the beginning of this year, one of my goals was I want 1,000 subs on YouTube. Was I working every day to reach that goal? So I can't feel like shit if I don't get the results. If I'm not putting work in, how do I expect to get work out? How am I supposed to get results if I'm not putting work in? What you get in is what you get out, basically. A lot of people have these things, and what I'm saying, they feel behind because they're not where they believe they're supposed to be. But for you to be where you're supposed to be, are you putting the work to be there? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, for example, right? One of my constant goals was to finally hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. On one of my other channels, of course, not this channel, right? Like, again, I'm using money as example. But I could tell you honestly, I have not been working on it consistently. Now, is that entirely my fault? Yes. Was there other things that were holding me back, such as school and classes and stuff? Yes, definitely. But there's many times where I had free time I could have worked on it, and I didn't. So I can't sit there and be down when I didn't choose to manage my time right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for the people who feel behind, you gotta sit there and be like, did I really, really work on where I'm supposed to be? Like, did I really put the efforts that were supposed to be put into the things that I wanted? I feel behind because I'm not where I'm supposed to be at, but did I really put efforts into the goals that would put me there if I actually worked on them? Boom. What you put in is what you get out. That's what I generally believe that. You put in a lot of effort in something, I promise you will grow. It's just like a plant. You put it and give it water every day and give it decent sunlight, it will grow eventually. Like, yes, it may not grow tomorrow, but you got to give it some time. And for the ones who are going in, day in, consistently, and putting that hard work in and busting their ass, I promise you, just give it some time. Because we get impatient. We really do get impatient. I promise you that. We all get impatient. We're human. That's how we get. Some people have more patience than others, and some don't. You work on something for so long, but you're seeing the very minimal results. You're putting so much pain and hard work, sweat into something, yet you're getting very, vague results, which really sucks. Like, you're putting, 5 videos out a day, and you're getting, 5 views, 10 views. It's like, okay, I'm putting all these hours in this thing just to get that. Don't give up. I swear, and I promise, I shouldn't be swearing, but I promise you, for me, I always look at it like it's a test or something, like a test of resilience. The only ones that last are the ones who really want it. And I'm starting to realize that. For me, I'm going to use me again as example. One of my goals on one of my other channels is 10,000 followers. I'm very close. Been trying to hit that for so long. And I generally can't sit there and be mad at myself that I haven't hit it yet when I haven't been putting the effort in. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been putting the effort in, so how do I expect results? That's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? But yes, guys, this is the video on how, if you feel behind, this is how to really assess and break it down. Like, are you really behind, or is you believe you're behind because you're looking at something? Don't forget, the biggest thing to take out of this video is comparison is the thief of joy. So do not compare oneself to another person. You are yourself, okay? So don't compare yourself to your sister. Don't compare yourself to your older cousin. No. Focus, solidify, isolate your mind, and work on you. Figure out what you want in this life, bro. As ass as it sounds like life can be sometimes as you get older, life can be really good if you move right. Believe it or not, you gotta just move right, figure out what you want in life, do something that you love, and see what you can make out of it. But you have to put the effort in. Don't feel behind just because you're seeing what others are doing. Because if they're doing good, I promise you, it's not just by sitting on their ass. You got to realize that too. Not to insult anybody, but that's the reality of it. If somebody else is doing good generally, and they're not just putting a facade up just to sell a course or something like you're seeing on social media, if they're generally doing good for themselves and they're actually putting hard work in, it's because they're going for it. In this lifetime, you really got to hustle, especially in the times we live in. You really have to hustle. So If you feel behind, put that effort in, figure out what you want in this life, and do these things that I told you just before in this video, and do not give up. You have to be like, you literally have to be a pain in the ass with your goals. You have to consistently go for it. You have to be hungry for it. Keep on going. Don't give up. I believe in you guys. One love.